In 1962, Deng Xiaoping, then Vice Premier of China, quoted a Chinese proverb: "It doesn't matter if a cat is black or white, as long as it catches mice." Deng quoted this proverb in acknowledgement that China needed to carry out economic reforms after the country suffered a massive famine due to disastrous policies of the Great Leap Forward. The Great Leap Forward was a communist policy spearheaded by Mao Zedong, chairman of the Chinese Communist Party from 1958 to 1962. Historians estimate this policy triggered a famine that killed between 15 and 55 million Chinese from 1958 to 1962. Poor and inefficient agricultural techniques linked to the policy caused severe food shortages. Deng quoted the proverb after witnessing the devastation caused by the Great Leap Forward. The proverb became an underlying ideology of China's economic reforms, which began after the death of Mao Zedong in 1976. After Deng Xiaoping succeeded Mao Zedong, he set out to transform China from a backward agrarian economy into the modern, technologically advanced industrial juggernaut that it is today. China is so industrially advanced that it is recognized as the factory of the entire world. Most companies from wealthy countries like Singapore, Hong Kong, USA, Germany, Japan, and South Korea have outsourced to China the manufacturing of their products, from garments, home appliances to high-end smartphones and vehicles. These countries have relocated their manufacturing processes to China to take advantage of its skilled workforce and efficient supply chains. They are not in China to exploit cheap labor, as it has historically been suggested. In 2024, Tim Cook, CEO of smartphone maker Apple, praised China for its manufacturing prowess, which he said lied in its skilled workforce than low labor costs. Cook said China possessed advanced tooling capabilities that are used to produce products. Hence, companies like Apple manufacture their iPhones, laptops, and tablets in China. Cook also noted that China has abundance of vocational skills than in the United States, Apple's home market. He was quoted as saying, "In the US, you could have a meeting of tooling engineers and I'm not sure we could fill the room. In China, however, you could fill multiple football fields." Hence, the vocational expertise in China is very deep. Tim Cook's sentiments about China are also shared by Ford CEO Jim Farley. Farley recently warned of a critical shortage of skilled tradespeople and artisans in the US. He pointed out that there are over 1 million job vacancies in the United States for artisans. Jim Farley revealed that Ford is struggling to fill around 5,000 skilled mechanics jobs, despite offering salaries of around $120,000 annually. This means that the US needs to invest in artisanal education to catch up with China. Artisans in China are not only needed in advanced manufacturing, they are also needed in the construction and maintenance of the country's sophisticated infrastructure, from roads, subways, to bridges and tunnels. Artisans are also needed in real estate, which also contributes in fueling China's economic boom. However, Americans are beginning to wake up to the economic opportunities that skilled trades offer. This is because artisans in the United States are experiencing what is arguably a golden age, as an increasing number of tradespeople and craftspeople are getting wealthier and joining a new class of dollar millionaires. This newfound wealth is generated from payouts by cash-flushed private equity firms, which are buying up skilled trades companies such as heating, ventilation and air conditioning, plumbing and electrical businesses. According to a Wall Street Journal published on the 14th of October 2024, US private equity firms bought nearly 800 skilled trades companies since 2022. Citing data from PitchBook, the publication noted that the 800 transactions are the biggest deals in the sector. But there are more smaller transactions that weren't made public due to sellers wishing to keep their payouts confidential. These deals are providing a new exit route that was not previously available to owners of skilled trades businesses. Traditionally, these businesses were passed down by their founders to their children or long-time employees. Private equity investors in the United States are attracted to skilled trades companies because the urgent nature of the repairs done by these businesses give them pricing leverage, as customers often have limited or no time to negotiate. The emergence of millionaire artisans is attracting young Americans to skilled trades careers. As a result, according to the National Student Clearinghouse Research Center, the number of students enrolled in US vocational colleges rose by 16% from 2022 to 2023. South Africa is in the same predicament as the United States, if not in a far worse situation. It suffers from a severe shortage of artisans and skilled factory workers, which are needed for advanced manufacturing and to grow the country's stagnant economy. It's no secret that the South African economy has flatlined since the 2009 global financial crisis. Since 2009, the economy has grown at an underwhelming average growth of 1.14% annually. In the last 16 years, unemployment has worsened, resulting in more than 12 million South Africans being unemployed, most of them discouraged young job seekers who do not have the skills needed by employers. Many of these young adults are trapped in prolonged adolescence, in which they remain dependent on their parents late into adulthood. Yet, South Africa suffers from a shortage of skilled artisans and tradespeople. This weakness is an economic bottleneck that makes South Africa less attractive as an investment destination. South Africa needs to produce 30,000 artisans annually to build its infrastructure, from roads, railway tracks, ports, schools, hospitals, universities, and power stations. But South Africa is producing only half of the artisans that are required annually. This shortage forces construction and manufacturing companies to import artisans from countries that have a surplus of these skills. For more than a decade, the government has been trying to reverse the shortage of artisans, which are needed by state-owned entities like power generator Eskom, Transport and Logistics Group Transnet, Roads Management Agency SANRAL, and passenger train operator PRASA. These entities are important for driving infrastructure development and South Africa's global economic competitiveness. The government has been encouraging young people to register at TVET colleges to train to become artisans, particularly plumbers, electricians, and plant operators. There is also a shortage of millwrights, diesel mechanics, fitters and turners, welders, tool and die makers. The government states that the skills shortage and high unemployment facing South Africa could be addressed if at least 60% of school leavers or matriculants trained as artisans. But young South Africans are still not heeding the government's advice, preferring to enroll at the country's 26 universities instead of the 50 public TVET colleges where they can train to become artisans and tradespeople. This problem reared its ugly head again during last year's first-year university applications. South Africa's 26 universities received millions of applications that far exceed available spots for 2026 academic year. Over 300,000 matriculants qualified for university, but only around 200,000 first-year places exist. For example, University of Johannesburg received over 870,000 study choices for 11,200 spots. Other universities like University of Cape Town, University of Pretoria, Northwest University, and University of KwaZulu-Natal also saw hundreds of thousands of applications for limited first-year placements. Unfortunately, our economy needs artisans more than university graduates. According to the Artisan Training Institute, qualified artisans can earn between 20,000 and 25,000 Rand a month. Some online job listings for diesel mechanics who fix earth-moving machines like excavators and drill rigs revealed that potential salaries of diesel mechanics range between 27,000 and 35,000 rand per month. In South Africa, earth-moving equipment mechanics, which are equivalent of caterpillar technicians, earn on average between 575,000 to 626,000 rand a year. This is about 48,000 to 52,000 rand per month, according to Glassdoor, an American job search engine. These pay scales depend on experience, certification level, role, and the employer. The shortage of artisans in South Africa isn't an accident. It's a human blunder worsened by two main problems that can be addressed. The Steel and Engineering Industries Federation of Southern Africa, SAFSA, has identified these problems as the high number of retiring experienced artisans, the education system that produces matriculants that lack the maths and science proficiency required in skilled trades professions. In its assessment of the situation, SAFSA further notes that older, experienced artisans in their late 50s were retiring, while those in their 30s and 40s were immigrating for greener pastures overseas. This has left a gaping hole in the local market. SAFSA has also observed a decline in the number of young people entering artisanal apprenticeships, which means artisans who have retired or immigrated aren't being replaced by younger, qualified artisans. The key takeaway from today's topic is that if South Africa wants to be brilliant in advanced manufacturing, like China or Germany, it must produce artisans to energize its stagnant economy. This means that there has to be serious cultural and mindset shift. In other words, we must reform our education and training system to focus more on practical learning than theoretical learning. This shift will take decades to bear fruit. The mindset shift can only start happening if South Africans change their perception that education from TVET colleges is inferior to that of universities. This will go a long way towards improving enrollments at TVET colleges, where young people can train to become artisans and skilled tradespeople. Skilled artisans are in huge demand and get paid well. They are paid good salaries that offer decent middle-class lifestyle. Young people must stop looking down at artisans as just blue-collar workers earning low wages. The reality is that South Africa has a problem of unemployed university graduates who cannot find well-paying white-collar jobs they were promised. The notion that it's only skyscrapers in big cities like Johannesburg and Cape Town that offer stable, well-paying office jobs is a fantastic fallacy many young people need to rid themselves of. Not all of us are needed in jobs where you show up at work dressed in suits, high heels, and carrying laptops. Many of us must learn to work with tools that fix machines. In these times of economic hardship, there is ample evidence that learning how to drive a forklifter, a tractor, or a truck keeps poverty at bay. Or training to become a mechanic that repairs trucks, tractors, and mining or construction excavators will ensure that you put food on the table for your family and loved ones. China is not the only country that South Africa can learn from regarding the importance of developing a skilled workforce. Switzerland, one of the richest countries in the world, is another country worth emulating. The Swiss are rich because they have a highly skilled workforce, built through a robust vocational education system. Around 2/3 of young Swiss, mostly 17-year-old, start apprenticeships where they work in companies to accumulate practical knowledge and experience. This ensures that the Swiss industry is supplied with the skills it needs, contributing to low youth unemployment rate, which is currently below 3%. Switzerland's neighbor, Germany, also has an excellent vocational education and apprenticeship system. Now compare Switzerland's low youth unemployment to South Africa's monstrous youth unemployment. Unemployment among South Africans aged 25 to 34 is 40.4% and rises to 62.4% for youth aged 15 to 24. Now let these dreadful stats sink